What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Great night of boxing. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Got to break down Canelo, Lara. I'll do the other fights maybe later. Probably not, though, to be honest. I enjoyed myself. There was a lot of sustained action. Um, First, for my breakdown, let me start off by saying the term robbery gets overused in the sport of boxing because most of the time when the term robbery comes about, it's during a close fight. Canelo versus Lara was a close fight. So no matter who you picked and what style you like, it was a close fight. So it wasn't a robbery. The only thing to me that was bullshit, that was a straight up robbery in terms of I don't think the right person won. I had Lara winning. The scorecard for Canelo in favor of Canelo, because it was a split decision win for Canelo after 12 rounds. They had it 117 to 111, which is some bullshit. This was a close fight. And I'm going to break it down and give you my standpoint. I had Lara winning. It was by a small margin. I thought he just had the ring generalship. He threw more punches, and he was able to just keep Canelo constantly resetting. So on the flip side is, I told you this would be a fight of the halves. I thought after the, mid rounds, the championship rounds, round 5 or 6, Lara was going to really start showing that separation. However, in some of the rounds, he actually let Canelo come on strong. So it looked like Canelo learned some things from the Mayweather fight, because there were moments where he, in the Mayweather fight, just looked puzzled and bewildered, and he came on strong. So this was a good, rough, back and forth fight. I mean, depending on what you were looking at, that's going to determine how you scored it. I would actually be very content with the draw. That's how close it was. I did the eye test. I didn't do an official scorecard, but it was a very close fight. I had Lara winning, and I think Lara won. So some people are calling it a robbery, and I just don't like the term robbery just because it was a close fight. But I thought Lara did enough to etch it out. He threw more. He had the ring generalship, and in boxing, it's about hit and don't get hit. You also got to look at it like this. Canelo was definitely, the moments where he was connecting, he was taking those moments and he was shining. Like his body shots and his combinations, he was ripping to the body. They were nasty, just disgusting stuff, people. His inside fight game is a monster. And I really have a respect for both of these guys. I told you guys in my prediction that Lara would win via majority decision or split decision. Some of you guys are going to try to talk shit like you always do, but I don't care because this was a close fight. And my prediction, in my mind, was accurate. You know what I mean? I thought it was a split decision. I told you it was a 50-50 fight. And a lot of people also feel where I'm coming from. I see a lot of people screaming it was a robbery and the wrong person won. It looks like Canelo still has problems with movement. Mayweather kind of exploited that. Lara showed that also. Some people don't like the tricky Cuban style or just lateral movers. They're like, oh, you're running, you don't come to run. But that's the thing with boxing. You have to be equipped, prepared to deal with the different types of styles. Some people are big punchers. Some people are mediocre punchers, but they have a high work rate and a high volume. Some people have lateral movement that they implement and they're slick. You know what I mean? Some people have head movement. Some people stand right in front of you and just get punched. And then if you can't get them out of there early, then they're going to fuck you up in the late rounds. That's what makes boxing interesting. Again, this was a close fight. Props to both fighters, Canelo and Lara. I do think Lara won according to my scorecard. I just think that there were some opportunities that Lara had just because it's unfortunate that I have to even say this, but you know what you're up against. You know how they try to do Austin Trout with the open scoring bullshit. And I feel Lara, knowing that, he should have stepped on the gas in some of those rounds. I think maybe round 5, I still think he won, but I expected him to really show that separation and pick up the fucking pace because you know how the judges think. You know what I mean? Canelo's a favorite. They're also trying to make future fights and shit. Canelo versus Miguel Cotto. So you have to win convincingly, and I think he should have picked up the pace on his offense. I still think just by pure volume, his work rate, offsetting, he won just, again, by a very tight margin. A draw wouldn't be out of the question. And they gave it to Canelo. Canelo won via split decision. I think 117 to 111 was pure bullshit. It was a close fight. No way that fight was that far apart, 117 to 111. Canelo, I told you this. Canelo is a problem. and he showed you just how good he is. He's not just a brawler. If he was a brawler, he would have got picked apart like Angulo did. But he's not that. He's a boxer puncher. He's calculated. He's a good fighter. I definitely am all for a rematch because I think this deserves a rematch to set the record straight. The energy in the crowd seemed electric. People tuned in. A lot of people were asking for my predictions and posting pictures and stuff like that. So I definitely think they should have another Cuba versus Mexico rematch in this fight. It was very close. There were times where Lara was doing real good and he dictated the pace, and then all of a sudden Canelo came on strong. So that's one thing, that's one adjustment that I seen Canelo do that I really like, is in the face of adversity, he let his hands go a bit more, you know what I mean, and adjusted a bit. Whereas in the Mayweather fight, he was just like puzzled and following Mayweather and getting picked off. This one, he was trying to make it a dog fight. He let his hands go. And I told you Canelo has heart. He's a very competitive person and he has that mean streak. And I told you all this in my videos leading up to this fight. So props to both fighters. I feel Lara won. It was a close fight. Even if you had Canelo winning, 117 to 111 was some pure bullshit. I'm all for a rematch. I enjoy myself with the boxing. Again, it's kind of like Chavez Jr. versus Brian Vera and different fights like that. Mauricio Herrera, Danny Garcia. It's all going to be dependent on what you're looking for as a critic. Some people like, you know what I mean, just in your face, oh, Canelo's ripping to the body and they look mean. But you also have to consider he did rip to the body and it looked like it was taking its toll. But Erislandy Lara, he didn't get knocked down from any of the shots. So Canelo won some of those rounds, but he didn't, in my opinion, he looked great in spots. And you know what I mean, won rounds, of course, but he didn't do enough entirety. You know what I mean? You got to look at a round. The rounds are 3 minutes. You can't just beast up for a 15-second stretch and then not knock your opponent down and expect to win a round where you're getting outboxed for 90% of it. But some fans, you view boxing like that. You're like, oh, I like that. That was just, he was just real aggressive and he had some nasty body shots. So in a 3-minute round, you can't take 15 seconds of great combination punching and vicious body shots and automatically that negates what the other person did. You know what I mean? So it's all a contrast of what you like or what you look for. Kind of like Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao was landing the harder shots, but he was inactive and he was flurrying in spots and sections, whereas Timothy Bradley kept a consistent pace and he had good movement. And you also have to award Lara a lot of credit for his lateral movement. Constantly kept Canelo just resetting and adjusting, and he missed a lot. You know what I mean? So he didn't get to get his offense off. But when he did, shit, he was really just ripping to the body. But I think Lara did enough to win. Very close fight. I think Lara, knowing what he was up against, probably should have pushed a little harder to really make a statement, knowing they're a pro Canelo crowd. You know what I'm saying? You've seen what they did to Austin Trout. You've seen in the Floyd Mayweather fight, they called that fight a draw, and that was a shutout past the 3rd round with Mayweather. So you know what you're up against. Sometimes you have to take that additional risk given the fan favorite and the future golden boy and all that bullshit. So it is what it is. I enjoy myself. Some people calling it a robbery. Let me know if you thought it was right on. Did you like Canelo's work? I just thought Canelo looked really good in spots. He didn't fatigue, which is good because I thought he might be dehydrated or weight trained, but it looked like he rejuvenated. And one of you guys asked me that, what do I think he's going to weigh on fight night? And I actually got it 100%. He weighed 171. So he didn't fatigue. His stamina looked better. Just 2 talented fighters, and I'm all for a rematch. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like the video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video's Ego signing off.